Hey guys, welcome back to Scott Family Homestead. I haven't done a video in a while, so I thought I would do a milking video this morning. And it was just shenanigans. I don't know what was going on with Lorelei, but she was not having it. And so I will show you a time lapse of this morning's milking. But I also tried to make yogurt last night and woke up to ricotta cheese in my Instapot. So we're going to try to make yogurt again today. I've done it successfully before. I'm not sure what happened last night, but we will give that one more try. But first I'm going to filter all of this milk. These are the filters we use, and I just get them from Amazon. And then we have this cool funnel. It has this little mesh filter in it, so that goes in the bottom. Put that into our jar, and then we put the paper filter in there. And we got a little over a gallon today. Half full. And we use these 1 gallon pails to transport it, but we actually milk into a 2 gallon stainless steel pail in the barn. When you're filtering your milk, you're looking for anything that's rubbery or firm. That would be a sign of mastitis. Otherwise, if it's going through easily like this, you're just trying to catch any dirt or hairs, bugs, anything that fell into the milking pail. Another half gallon. You can see we had like one little stick in there, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. Nice clean milk. And you'll see in the video we clean her bag really well too before we milk, not just the teats but the whole bag. With warm soapy water. And I will link everything that I talked about in the description as well. One more. So we got a little over 1.5 gallons today, even with all the shenanigans. Thankfully we were able to get the bucket away when she pooped or kicked, and she was just having a day. Ryan was just telling me that when he walked her back to her paddock, she went on the other side of the barn and walked all the way around and then just looked at him like, what are we doing? As if she doesn't do this every single day. So she was having her moment. So I could have used 2 gallon jars today because we had enough milk, but I always try to fill my jars to the top just because it's easier to get the cream off. If I have one of these big gallon jars but it's only half full, makes it a little bit more difficult. So I would rather put it into separate smaller jars than to have a half full jar. So we're getting about 1.5 gallons a day right now. I'm trying to make as much as I can with this. The kids are drinking a ton of milk, especially if I buy cereal. They go through a lot of milk, so we got some cereal this week. We won't drink 1.5 gallons a day or use it, so a lot of this will go to the pigs, but I always make sure to cool it as quickly as possible, and then after a day or so take all the cream off, because that's the precious part. Because we calf share, we don't get a ton of cream. She will hold that back for her calf, and so we'll only get 1 inch or 2 of cream on this. You'll see some people will get like nearly half of it is cream. With a Jersey, they do have a high cream content, and so that is a great benefit of it. But for us, the benefit of being able to not have to milk every single day is worth sacrificing on the cream right now. So eventually we'll wean Rory off of her and get a little bit more. But for now, that's our plan. I color code all my days, so I bought these on Amazon, these lids. With the big gallon jars, I write on here with Sharpie because it washes off. I'll just write the date. But with anything that has a wide mouth on it like this, we do rainbow colors. I've labeled most of them, but basically we start from red on Sunday and then we go all the way down to purple, and then Saturday is pink. And so without having to look at the lids, we can actually tell what day it is by what rainbow color we're on. So it's Wednesday, we get green for Wednesday. That also keeps us from keeping milk for over a week. So once our milk is a week old, it goes to the pigs. So if we are ready for our green caps and we've still got these in the fridge, then we know it's time to jettison them and get some new milk put in there. The gallon jars come from Azure. That's the best price I've been able to find on them. You can get them from Uline as well if you're not an Azure customer, but you're going to pay so much in shipping. And then we typically use the Azure Lids too, which are metal. The ones I ordered on Amazon are plastic, but I much prefer the metal. Anyways. Okay, these are going into the fridge to cool as quickly as possible. Now that it's cold outside, when we're milking, it's cooling right away when it hits the bucket and the cement floor, so it's not a problem. In the summer, you have to be really diligent about getting it into the refrigerator. Okay, so I've got some older milk here, and I'm going to take the cream off of this. I just use like a little measuring cup. I find that's the best. And then I am keeping all of my cream right now in deli containers. I'm trying to get a little over 2 quarts so I can make some sour cream. This ½ gallon is going to go into our drink dispenser. I'll show you how we do that, and that is what the kids use for their cereal or for fresh drinking, or if I need some for cooking or baking. And basically it draws off the bottom. Oh, it's right back here. It's this drink dispenser here. It draws off the bottom so you don't end up with any cream. You'd get just the skim milk. And then this is yesterday's. We've been feeding black oil sunflower seeds because I hear that gets a little bit more cream. And I am seeing a little bit of a difference, except Lorelei tries to eat around the sunflowers. She doesn't love them. So we'll keep doing that and hopefully she'll get used to it. We try to mix it in really well, but I think that was part of the issue today. You'll see her kind of refusing to stand nice, and usually all it takes is a little tap, and we could say manners, and she'll straighten her legs out. And this morning she just was not having it because she had gotten to those sunflowers, so we gave her another scoop of grain, and then she was happy as could be. Immediately went into her stance, as she knows she's supposed to stand, and did just fine. Alright, this is my drink dispenser. I got it from Walmart. You can see it's got a little bit of cream in there. That's fine. I actually just put a gallon in this yesterday, and it already has some in it, so this was full to the brim yesterday. That's how much we used. I did make a double batch of waffles last night, so that took a bunch of milk. But I'm going to add this to it and put it back in the fridge. This is all cold milk. I'm adding cold milk to cold milk. Nice and easy. Okay, I'm going to take a little break here. I'm going to show you the video of milking this morning. The whole milking process condensed down to 1 minute in a hyperlapse. And so I'll let you see that now. In here where we do all of our dairy products, we've got our dispenser, I've got starters in here, I've got some buttermilk, we've got all of our gallons of milk back here, we've got whipped cream, cream, ricotta cheese, a little bit more milk, and so we're able to keep it contained to just this one shelf. We don't have an extra fridge or anything for it. We don't let it get too out of hand before we start feeding the pigs. Okay, so this is the yogurt that I was using. It is from Cultures for Health, and I just reread this little booklet, and it actually says that you can make the yogurt just by putting milk in with the starter and letting it sit in a warm spot for at least 12 hours. So I'm going to take what little bit of starter I have left, I'm going to add a cup of milk to it, because I've got about a tablespoon in there. Let it sit just like I did when I was activating the starter. And see if we get yogurt in about 12 hours. Then I think we can bypass the whole Instant Pot process and just make it in our kitchen. So I should have been following this all along. I'm going to give that a try and see if that's what makes the difference with the heirloom starters. So I am using this Finnish variety, the Villi. I don't know if that's how you say that. This is what it looks like. At the moment, it smells really good like yogurt, so I think the starter is fine. So, as the directions say, I'm going to put a cup of milk in here and put a coffee filter over top of it and check it again in the morning. Okay, I am back with my yogurt culture. I had it here on the cook stove last night, so it was nice and warm, and it does have that yogurt consistency. It's pulling away from the jar. So what you're looking for is for it to pull away from the edge of the container. So you see that right there? That means your yogurt is ready to go. I did some research last night after reading the packet on this and trying to figure out why the Instapot didn't work, and I learned some valuable information. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to kind of just highlight it and do the shortened version. Store-bought yogurt is thermophilic, which means it likes that warm temperature to grow the bacteria in order to culture into yogurt. So when you're using a store-bought yogurt as your starter, doing it in the Instapot will work. So I've done it before, it has worked. Then I took an heirloom starter, which is mesophilic, and tried to do it in my Instapot, and basically it was killing off all of the good probiotics that were in there. So mesophilic means it likes it at room temperature or just above, so they recommend 70 to 77 degrees, and you can culture this just at room temperature. So I kept it a little bit warmer in here last night. I didn't let it get too cool because it's only about 40 degrees outside. We've got a little wood cook stove here, I kept that going last night, and I made yogurt in 12 hours. I only had a tablespoon of yogurt left, so I was able to make 1 cup of yogurt, but now I can put this in the fridge, and after 6 hours, I can use this to make up to half a gallon at a time, using 1 tablespoon per cup of milk. There's a couple other differences between the store-bought and heirloom starters that you will notice. The heirloom or mesophilic starter is going to be a runnier consistency, whereas if you do the thermophilic, it's going to have that thicker consistency. Both have the ability to be strained and thickened up a bit, but you are going to notice that when you buy store-bought yogurt, a lot of times they actually add thickeners to it to make it even thicker yet. The addition of those thickeners and the flavorings, like the vanillas, honeys, sugars, any of those sorts of things, are also going to make it so that it's harder to keep replicating. So when you put it in your Instapot and you make a new batch, you can't necessarily keep that going as long as you could with your heirloom starter. So your heirloom starter has a lot of different varieties of good bacteria and probiotics in it, and so this is easier to keep going than the store-bought yogurt that generally has just a couple of strains that can be outcompeted quickly. I had read conflicting information about whether or not you can use raw milk with your heirloom starter. A lot of people say you should pasteurize it first. I went to the website of this particular starter, and I will link it down below, and it talks about pasteurizing your milk to make your original starter, but when you reproduce it, you can use raw milk. You just want to use very clean, fresh milk that didn't have a chance to grow other bacteria in it. You want to use your freshest, cleanest milk to continue this. Obviously, disclaimer, raw milk, there's a lot of opinions on raw milk, so you have to make the decision on what works best for your family. But I'm very excited that we found a way to make yogurt with our raw milk. So basically like a sourdough starter, you keep feeding it, make yogurt every 1 to 2 weeks, and you will just be able to keep this going as long as you don't have competing bacteria taking over. So I'm very excited to give this a try. I'm going to make another batch tonight and try to do a half gallon. And then with that half gallon, I might try to strain it a little bit, thicken it up. And then my plan is to use some of our freeze-dried fruit, turn it into powders and add that. Try to make some different varieties, including using honey or maple syrup, and see what the kids really like and nail down a good yogurt recipe. So I'm really excited about this. I'm happy that it finally worked. I was worried that this was just a really complicated thing I was going to have to keep troubleshooting, but it was really just a misunderstanding of the different types of yogurts. So I hope this lesson helps you as much as it helped me, and you can go and make some yogurt, whether you're doing it with store-bought or some of these cool heirloom varieties. So thank you for following along today. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We're also on Facebook, Instagram. I've got a blog, all the things. You can find our links on our channel, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.